Welcome, welcome! It's Mud Dog with the TexasSpaceNavy bringing you another Star Citizen video. And today I am going to do a Q&A that I put up on the Discord a few days back that a few people were very kind to contribute to, at least on the question side, so that I could answer on this video. So I hope you guys will enjoy some of these questions. Some of them I'll be able to go into more detail on. Some I may just kind of give a short answer. So we'll just see how it goes and kind of, play it by ear. So the first question I got was, what is your favorite ship? Boy, that's a loaded question. That's really tough to answer. I used to absolutely love my Glaive, and then there was some changes done to the game that broke it. So don't love it now. Maybe when they bring it back in its new form, I will love it again. We'll see. Used to like flying the Drake Caterpillar, doing a lot of cargo missions. It was a lot of fun. Can't say that it's my favorite, though. I like the M50, but it doesn't do so well in windy conditions. So it's really hard for me to pinpoint one. And are we talking about a ship that's in the game now, or a ship that's going to be in the game later? It's just a very, very tough question to answer. I like a lot of ships. I really do. I can't answer that question right now. I will have to get back to you on that one. Maybe I'll do a whole video based off of my favorite ships for what types of genres in the game, jobs in the game, something like that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Sorry I didn't answer that one. There's a lot of ships that I like. Of the existing gameplay loops, such as mining, salvage, cargo, medical, what other potential loops are there that are not yet in game? Well, there's going to be racing. You can become a professional racer. Maybe even get involved in the Murray Cup. Probably a lot more of the smaller circuit stuff. And we've seen some of this actually where player-created content of racing. The Sevens recently, the Daymar Rally. So those are more like ground-based racing, but there's going to be space-based racing as well, and planet-side ship racing as well. So racing is definitely a a potential loop that's going to be in the game. For sure, we know it will. Newscaster. You're going to have the news van, the Mako, the Reliant Mako, so you can definitely do something in that field. There's also going to be sports. There's going to be some sort of sports like Sata Ball. Maybe you can be involved with that. Or maybe some sort of Arena Commander champion, where you go into Arena Commander through the PU. Like they used to have sim pods that you would access it from. And maybe they will have teams that will play Theaters of War, where you'll have actual, like professional teams from Terra or from Earth, and they'll compete in Arena Commander games. That would be cool. I don't know if they're going to do that, but I think that's actually a huge, huge market for CIG and Star Citizen. If they haven't looked into it, you're going to be able to get your competitive gamers in. Your Twitch streamers and stuff that like the more fast-paced action type stuff. That's where you're going to have an open market to where you can have these actual leagues out there that people can actually watch in the game as well, or while they're playing the game as well in the game. So yeah, I think that could be a very cool game loop as well. Obviously you didn't mention pirating, but that's definitely going to be in there. I don't know. The sky is the limit. You could be a drug dealer. You're going to be able to make your own drugs and sell them. I really don't. There's going to be a lot. It's pretty much the sky's the limit. Whatever you want to do almost should be available for you to do in the game. If you want to be a police officer, maybe they'll let you join the advocacy. Yeah, there's a lot to that question. Hopefully I've satisfied some of your curiosity there. Will there be planets too dangerous to visit, and what might be their value in game? Definitely going to be some planets that are too dangerous to visit. There almost are now, if you're not in the right spacesuits. I imagine there's going to be some planets with some tectonic issues, volcanoes. Obviously, unbreathable air is the number one thing. There's going to be planets that have some crazy wildlife that could be super dangerous. I think we'll experience some of that on one of the moons of Pyro, and maybe even the Yeti over at Microtech. Those could be some dangerous places on certain planets to visit. But planets themselves, there will be some unstable planets out there, or harmful planets out there. It might be too hot, might be, well, not too cold, but it definitely might be too hot. It could be too cold. Maybe the suit just can't protect you against that extreme of a cold. So yeah, there's definitely possibilities for those planets out there. In the future, we will travel across multiple systems. Will there be established safe routes to follow? Will we have convoys with AI ships? The answer is sort of yes. So there are going to be more lawful trade routes to take. They may take you a lot longer to get to where you want to go, but they're going to be in a more protected space. You call out for help, help could be there within minutes rather than hours or days. Now, you could choose to take the less safe route and get there much quicker, but you're also running a risk of pirates or mines or vandal or any number of different things. So yeah, there will be some safer routes to take. Now, I would suggest that you have org mates or somebody with you that can protect you. Maybe hire somebody to come, fly your wing while you're doing it. That could be also an AI ship. You could hire AI to be your wingman and be security for you on one of these convoys, or vice versa. Maybe they'll hire you. So yeah, I think that there's going to be some interaction with AI in convoys for sure. You're going to see some whole seas going from planet to planet, system to system, and they're probably going to travel the safe routes more than anything else. So definitely look for that. Next question: how will space liners like the Genesis Starliner work? Will we be hauling real people, AI, or both? Both. Now, they do have a write-up on how the Starliner is envisioned to work. You're going to have a pilot, probably a co-pilot, and then you're going to also have to have somebody that deals with the hospitality part of it. Whether you're dealing with AI or people or both during that. I mean, there's going to be a need for people to travel between stations, between systems. Maybe they don't have their ship in a certain system and you've got to give them a lift back to it. There's all sorts of reasons why actual real people will be traveling on the Starliners. But there's also real reasons why AI will be. But yeah, you'll have somebody that's got to deal with the hospitality part. Food, drinks, comfort. Make sure the bathrooms don't get overflown. There's going to be those kinds of needs on the Starliner and that kind of work. And the better crews will be able to fetch a little bit better price. Also, speed. Are you taking a less safe route to get there faster? Are you somehow getting escorts for your commercial Starliner? It's really a private Starliner if you own it, right? But you could open it up for commercial use. So that's a great question, and I definitely recommend that you go on the website, on CIG's website, RSI website, and look at the write-up they had on it. It was really interesting, and it seems like a pretty cool line of work, traveling from one spaceport to another, just ferrying people. It could be very profitable. How will I put people in the stasis pods in the Cutlass Blue in the future? Gunpoint? Do I deliver people to jail or someplace like that? Yes, pretty much. So right now, in the next patch, they have Surrender version 2 coming up. So if somebody surrenders, you'll pretty much, tractor beam them over to, or have them come over to your ship and put them in the stasis pod. Now, in the future, if you go into a stasis pod, you will probably appear in jail, but the person who has you in the stasis pod will still fly to the prison or wherever it is that they're taking you and drop you off, or at least, deliver your pod there. But you will probably already be in jail doing stuff. It's kind of a weird system, but, you know, it's interesting how they have it set up. But yes, so yeah, you'll physically put somebody in the stasis pod somehow, whether it's a non-lethal takedown or they willingly go in by gunpoint or whatever, and then you will deliver them to the jail or prison or wherever it is that you have to take them. So, good question. Next question. Will ships like the Carrack or 890 Jump that have all of the amenities of a house be used as a floating residence? And can you live in your ship as if it was a hab? The answer is yes to both of those questions. The Carrack is meant for long distance hauls, so not hauls, but exploration. So you're supposed to be out there for months, maybe even years at a time, self-sustaining. Obviously, you could run out of food and drink. You know, that could be a serious issue if you're away too long or you're not someplace where you can get more food. But generally speaking, the Carrack is designed to stay out for a really long time. 890 Jump as well. It's got plenty of storage space. Excuse me on that. That was my computer going crazy. But it's got plenty of storage space for food and drinks and stuff like that. You'll be able to stay out a really long time on it as well. Of course, fuel's the other issue. You've got to make sure you can bring in fuel. And the Carrack, I believe, will have fuel scoops. 890 Jump should, but I'm not sure if it really does. So you may have to have a Starfarer somewhere, or at least return back to some main spaceport to refuel and get your everyday survival stuff like food and water. Next question. Large capital ships that cannot land on planets. Where do they go when not in use? What do you do with the crew? Very good question. So, large capital ships that cannot land on planets. I mean, the Javelin is probably going to be the smallest large capital ship that's not going to land on a planet. The Orion may not be able to go on a planet either, though it is a mining ship, so maybe it can. I don't know. They haven't really addressed that question with that particular ship. The Hull E is not really designed to go down to a planet, but if it's empty of cargo, it should be able to. The Endeavor, you can take the front portion and it can go land on a planet. So really, the large capital ships that you're talking about, it's probably going to be Javelin and above. Those ships will be stored in hangars as well as anything else. Now, you will probably have to pay hangar fees unless you were like an original backer and had those waived. So who knows how much the hangar fees will be? Hopefully they're not so expensive that you can never get your ship out of the hangar. But that's where they will be stored. Or, of course, you can log off and the ship will disappear, and when you relog, it'll come back on. As far as crew, are you talking about NPC crew or human crew? If it's a human crew and you log out, you will possibly be able to give them command of the ship to where it'll stay more persistent until they log out. Or you log out and it'll give them a certain amount of time for them to exit that ship before it disappears. If it's NPC crew, that's a little bit tougher question to answer, because they did say that we'd actually be able to rent NPC crew to fill out a lot of those bigger ships, and you could have NPC crew doing a lot of the hard work like the turrets and flying and everything else. So what happens to them? Well, I assume they'll disappear with the ship, or maybe you can reassign them onto other ships of that type. I don't have the actual answer for you there. I'm just making assumptions here, but that's what I think. Next question. We currently pull our ships out of the magic space either at ship terminals to fly them. Space ether, at ship terminals to fly them. Will this continue in the final game, or will we be required to manage a hangar and park our fleet someplace? So the long answer is yes, we will have to park it in a hangar or some sort of dock. That's kind of why the big space stations above the major landing zones right now have the ship to station docking. That's going to be a place to park those bigger ships. Now, will they get stored in a hangar if you leave them there very long? I don't know. They have not exactly answered that. I assume it's going to cease persisting. You know, it'll disappear and you can recall it up out of the ether. I wish they had a better system of doing this. I wish we could actually see them, you know, raise the ship up from the floor, and maybe there's invisible hangars or, you know, some sort of hangar space down below that we can't access. I know eventually we'll have our own hangars. Maybe they're rented out on planets, or you can have a hangar near one of your habs, like an outpost or something. We just don't have all that information just yet. But that's the best I can really answer that question with the current information that I have. Next question. Where did you acquire your legendary landing skills? Hey, that's a horrible question. I'm striking it from the record. You could never ask that question ever again. Tugs, I know it was you. Oh, and actually, I mean, you know, my mentor, Super Dave Osborne, would love my landings. He would think that they were perfect in every way. And you should too. Evil Knievel would say anyone you can walk away from is a good one. Well, I mean, you know, I walk away from all of them. I mean, I may have to get out of the bed afterwards sometimes, but I walk away from each and every one of them. So they're all great. All great landings. Will we see any other ship manufacturers in the future? I would bet on that. Yes. I think we're about to have a new one during Alien Week, which starts Friday. I bet we get one from a Xi'an manufacturer, probably a Xi'an cargo vessel. Maybe not, but it's a possibility. I do think we will have other manufacturers in the game. It just makes sense. But I think right now they are happy with the amount that they have because they still have to make all the ships. So I don't think we'll see too much in the way of new manufacturers for flyable ships in the near future, other than maybe a Xi'an cargo vessel. That probably might be it. Will ships like the Ares Inferno and the Ares Ion unbalance existing PvP play due to their impressive firepower? Another great question that they kind of answered a little in their Q&A, but the Inferno and the Ion with those size 7 cannons can certainly shred a smaller fighter. They will not be very maneuverable. They said it was going to be as maneuverable as a freelancer or thereabouts. So that's kind of the the flaw in these ships, is that they're not going to be super maneuverable. But all you got to do is get, you know, on target once and pull the trigger, you know, and you're going to do some massive amounts of damage to those smaller ships, if not kill them outright in one blast. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how they balance that. I don't think it's unbalanced per se. I do think that, you know, littler ships are going to have to know when they're punching above their weight. And if you're in a smaller ship and you're coming across an Ares and they have some range on you, yeah, run away. Just run away. You know, you don't want to face that. So everybody's going to have a little intelligence when they go into certain encounters and know when it's a winnable fight and when it maybe isn't. Remember, death of a spaceman is going to be a thing. You're not going to just go in, you know, willy-nilly and try to take out every ship you see with the smallest of fighters. You know, as much as Test loves the Auroras, I mean, they're not going to risk life and limb all the time to take down a Javelin with one Aurora. It's just, that's not a wise decision. So you're going to have to exercise some intelligence and wisdom with each encounter. Next question. Ships that community feels will need a rework before gold status, such as the Starfarer. In your opinion, will CIG rebuild them? And how dramatically different could they be from current flyable versions? Well, there are a few that need to be redone. The 600i, the Starfarer, the Constellation still needs another rework. Rework number 80. I think that they will be reworked. They will have a more sensical internal layout. Maybe make better use of certain spaces. I don't know to what extent. The Starfarer, they said, needs a massive rework. The 600i needs to be completely gutted and redone for the most part. So, yeah, we could see some really major reworks for some of those ships. Connie, it needs a rework, but how major will they go with it since they've already done it a couple of times? As you know, a lot of the ships are going through gold standard passes, or a few of them are. The Gladius already has, the Retaliator will be, and the 600i will be as well pretty soon. So I would expect the revisions will be done then, and we can see what they end up looking like afterwards. I can't wait. And I think in the future, when they redo a ship, they'll probably just sell it as a newer year model. So the 2955 Hornet, per se. So I think that's what they'll end up doing later on, so they can just introduce new ships that way. Question: is having multiple accounts a good idea? For some people, it might be. For others, it might not. Now, you can have... this question... it's going to be harder to answer, because you can technically have multiple characters on one account. So you wouldn't have to have multiple accounts. Multiple accounts could help in certain situations where you just want a little more autonomy. I have multiple accounts myself. One is for my, major roleplay character. The other one is for my main character. I don't know. I would not suggest it unless you had a good reason or a good idea to do it. I would not recommend dual boxing the game. That's going to be extremely hard to do, and you're really not going to get much benefit out of doing it, most likely. So multiple accounts would only benefit you in certain situations, whereas you could just, have multiple characters on one account, and that would probably be better. So in order to do that, you have to buy game packages that will give you a copy of the game. So it's very specific on how you can do that. Later on, they may actually let you buy character slots for new characters, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. New question: do you think CIG will keep selling skins for simple color changes, and we won't get any in-game color options? Yes. Short term, definitely. They are making good money doing that. It's easy money for them. Long term, I think they're going to give us the ability to customize our colors, but I do think that's a longer time off, and I don't think it's going to be the same as the skins that they're selling right now. I think the skins are going to be pretty specific compared to just changing the color of a ship. There's going to be certain aspects to that skin that make it look the way it does. Next question: had the 2950 Titan Invictus skin used to be pleasant blue and yellowish color set, and had to log with the actual year in it. Now all I see is this year's not so good looking blue and cheap gold skin instead. Is it just me, or did this happen to everyone? Honestly, I don't remember last year's versus this year's. I think they're fairly similar still. I do. Maybe just the way that the graphic shows. I don't know. I haven't looked at them in game. I didn't get a lot of the Invictus stuff last year as far as colors. This year I have maybe one or two, so I can look at that, but it's not the same for the Penguin or the Avenger, which, you're talking about the Titan Invictus skin. So yeah, I'm not real sure on that one. Next question. I heard some ships are nameable. How? Okay, so there are a few ships in the game that are nameable. The 600i, the Reclaimer, the Hammerhead. Is it the Hammerhead? I don't know. 890 Jump. The Carrick. That's all I remember right offhand. Anyways, yeah, you can name those by going to the RSI page, logging in, going to your hangar, and if you have that ship, you can go to where that ship is in the hangar, open it up, and it'll give you an option to rename that ship or to name that ship. They're very specific on the naming convention, so I would definitely recommend you Google RSI or Star Citizen naming ships or ship naming, and you'll find a doc there that will tell you everything you need to know about how you can name the ship, what you have to do for it, and all of that. All right, let's do the last question before we call this a day. Next question, or last question: do you think it would have been possible to fit a medbed somewhere on the Hercules, or you think it's fine as it is? I don't think it's designed for that idea. I think with the military variant, the M2, maybe it wouldn't have been a bad idea because it transports soldiers, but it's more of a short-term soldier transport than it is a, multi-system transport. You don't want people sitting back there for hours and days at a time. They don't have beds. Really, the facilities aren't good enough. I mean, as far as bathrooms, showers, etc. So, yeah, it's not made for that. So I would not... I don't think it should have a med bed. Now, they could definitely have fitted in there, without a doubt. It would have been easy to fit in there. But, yeah, it wasn't designed for that. So, no, I don't think you'll ever see a med bed in the Hercules Starlifter. So, guys, thank you all for the questions. I really do appreciate it. And, I will do another one of these Q&As. I'll do one for the YouTube channel as well, so anybody in the YouTube comments can ask those questions, and I'll be glad to answer those for you. I'll let you know when I'm doing that, and that way everybody will have a fair shot of getting in. I know this is really long. I hope you guys enjoyed the Q&A. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. I certainly do appreciate it once again. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That really helps the channel out. Check out the ads. Watch them all the way through. Click on them. That helps the revenue of the channel. Or you can go over to my Patreon or YouTube members section, and both of those give you a chance to contribute to the channel. And I can't say how much I appreciate you guys that have been doing that month in and month out. Life's hard sometimes, and you get on hard times and lots of medical bills and stuff like that. And you guys have really come through and helped me a lot through the last year. And so thank you. And yeah, I really do appreciate it. With that, I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you out in the verse.